Good things are happening here in Bali at the moment. I tell you what, there's some crazy stuff happening as well, and I want to get into that a bit later on. But at the moment, Fee and me are out of our property. It's starting to grow back again. I think I'm going to have to get the old whippersnapper out and give it a bit of a shot. The Roundup did an amazing job. I tell you what, these weeds are pretty resilient. So the good news on our property is we haven't started to build yet, but we've finally got all the paperwork through, and that was all dealt with. We've got the surveyors down today with their GPS thing. He's setting up just up there to get his marker points, and they're going to mark out the property to show where our boundary markers are, so we can start planning what we're going to build and how we're going to do it. Now, this is going to be a long process, and unfortunately I'm still waiting for my property in New Zealand to be able to be sold. Now, we had a bit of a problem a few years ago with a landslide over there, and the ground's been declared unstable, so we can't sell it until it's been fixed and sorted out, and we're going through the long exhaustive process of sorting that out. After that's done, we can sell it, and then we can use that money to start building here. So look, this could be a long-term plan, but I'm not planning on going anywhere. In the meanwhile, I'm back into doing vlogs. So my visa finally has come through. And we have got look, there's a lot of stuff happening, and look, part of the reason that it's taken so long for the visa is we had a visa approved, but I needed to be able to help with YouTube and also help with Bali Donate and do other things, including helping my wife's new business. So in order to have a visa that covers all of that, we had to make a special application, and it just took a lot of time, and we knew it would. We were covered the whole way through, but they did say, good idea not to do too many vlogs, just keep under the radar a little bit till it's all over and done with. So we're pretty much through that process, a little bit further to go, but it will give me full permission to work here in Bali, as also because I'm married to a local and look after my family and be able to support them. In the meanwhile, the property is underway, or getting more underway. Once we've got the boundaries all marked out, we've got all the maps and all the bits and pieces that we need, we're going to get the engineers and the architects in here to see what can be done, and we're going to go through that whole process with you guys as far as the consent process and what's involved. A lot of people are saying it's pretty interesting. They want to know what's going on. This week though, oh my god, we've had a crazy week. We've had what we call the A team. Now, those of you who have been over here that aren't here this week, don't feel bad, because we've got applications out for the B team. we're taking invitations. Anyone that wants to be part of the craziest bunch of people that visit Bali. We have had the most incredible week. We went out to up to north near Ahmed, a place called Datar, a little village just sort of on the side of Mount what's it called?
Data.
Mount Abang.
Yeah, Abang.
And we took about 50 people, including staff from the hospital, including Rotarians from the Rotary Club of Bali Action, which I'm a member of as well, and also people from Bali Donate. And there was a massive crew of us, but even better, we had about 600 or so locals from up around those village areas come down to the Banjar office, to the head of the local council. And we managed to get massive amount of medical aid, eye checks, cataracts, you name it. We gave out close to 500 bags of food and clothing and emergency aid, including school books and toothbrushes and all that sort of stuff. So we did a huge job. Honestly, it took my poor wife about a month of packing bags in our living room, so we had enough to send about probably 3 or 4 tons worth of care packages up onto 2 trucks. And we still had my car. We had about 2 or 3 buses, and we had the trailer just chockers for the roof. But it was such a good thing, and it's so good. It luckily coincided with one of my mates is over here for his 60th birthday. So we did that yesterday. We've had a whole week of craziness and good times.
And today's Stonewall.
And today, it's Wednesday, so we're going to be at Stonewall later on tonight. For some of us, some of us need a night off. Actually, we all got home pretty early last night, I think. But it's a beautiful time to be in Bali. There's a bit of cloud cover today. It's a bit cool. With the cold weather in Australia at the moment, Bali's feeling the effects, which is beautiful at night time. You don't need the air conditioning on, it's just so beautiful. There is a lot happening in Bali. There's been some horrible weather, and there's been a couple of tragedies because of the weather, especially a couple of boating accidents. The good news, if it's something to come out of that, is when they do have tragedies, when there is stuff that's really important, they do go back and have a look at the safety standards and see and address the concerns of the community to see what they can do to fix that. And there are a few options on the table. So as they develop, I'm going to keep you informed with that. At the moment, if you go with KW Tours and there's a boat trip involved, if the weather's not good, they won't go, and they'll turn around and say, look, I'm sorry, it's just not safe. So if you go for some of the cheaper, some of the smaller companies, some of them will tend to try and get a dollar where they can, if you know what I mean, and not all of them are the safest place to go. But it is a bit of a tough area, and I wish there was a better idea. It's sort of not a big enough market to qualify putting really big, expensive boats in. So because it's a very budget end of the tourism sector, boating over here is a bit more dangerous, and certainly more dangerous than what we're used to in Australia with our incredibly high safety standards. So if the weather's bad, I don't go on boats. Honestly, it's just not. Over here, they can be pretty treacherous seas, and there's deep water, and the wind can blow up pretty quickly. So my thoughts go out to anyone that was affected by the recent tragedies with a couple of boats rolling over in a couple of weeks. It was actually really, really serious. And there's massive changes happening behind the scenes with the government as far as their scrutiny of visas, their scrutiny of work permits, their scrutiny of people that are over here doing the wrong thing. There have been a massive number of people from mostly European background who've been coming over here right through the COVID period and setting up businesses that don't really qualify for the visas that they've had. And I don't want to go too much into that, but it's caused a ripple effect, so that now the government is going through and saying, okay, well, what's real and what's not, and what are we going to do about it? So that has changed the way visas are being dealt with. There's been companies set up under less than ideal circumstances, so now they're going back and checking them. And one of the big things, you'll see a lot of building going on around where I am. There's been a lot of houses or a lot of developments put together that don't meet the building code for, say, villas or for commercial occupancy. Now, a bit like at home, if you want to, it's got to be zoned for commercial or zoned for residential. You can build a house over here without any permits, almost. You shouldn't, but you can, and as long as it's a private house and you're not intending on Airbnb-ing it or something else, it's almost sort of goes under the radar. And it's been going on like that for years and years. They've come in with new building standards, they've got new regulations and new rules, and if you don't follow the new rules, in fact, I believe all the old rules were updated, and so between now and I think next October, every single house, or certainly every commercial house, has to have an IMB. It has to have their building certificate, and so that's got to be retrospectively applied. And that could mean buildings that don't meet those standards will be deemed not suitable for occupancy or for commercial or rental sort of applications. So it's a minefield of understanding the implications and the opportunities. It has meant that the building costs have, not the costs, sorry, but the land costs and I guess the abuse of the system has been sort of knocked down a bit, and they are deporting people for running illegal building houses or illegal rentals, and closing down business. And you might have heard that they've knocked down 40 odd buildings in Bingen down in Uluwatu that were there illegally, or without the right permits. Now that's an ongoing, a very old thing. I think that started back in the 70s, and people were given permission to build, or unofficial or whatever. But then the government turned around and said, okay, well, we want that to be sorted out now. And it's happened also it happened in Sanua last year or a year or two ago, and it does happen. People take advantage of a relaxed system, and then the system catches up with itself and says, okay, we better stop that from happening. But things can be difficult in Bali, and one of the biggest things is the interpretation of what the rules are, or what the rules are and how they're applied can be two different things depending on who you talk to, or depending on what you understand is the right way to do it. Very, very strongly recommend anyone who's coming over here with the intention on living here in Bali full time, or spending a time, or investing in Bali, running a business or something, to get good advice and to make sure that they're doing the right thing. Now, that's one of the main reasons that Vie has opened Bali Dreams Consulting, and it's a consultancy where if you want to come over here and you want to talk about visas, or you want to talk about accommodation, or you're looking for a place, or you want advice, even if you end up in hospital over here and you need someone to talk to help with the insurance, Vie is a consultant who understands good English and perfect in Indonesian, so she can be like the intermediary person. Easiest way to find her is just go on Bali Dreams Consulting on Facebook, and she's got a website that's nearly up and running, but that's a really fantastic way. She's got some amazing testimonials from people that she's been able to help.
Yeah, please, and Crystal, please give your testimonial.
Yeah, she's been able to help people out, and simply there was one lady who was just about to sign the contract, and she said, look, Muzz, can you get Vie to come over and just give me a quick read through? They want me to sign something tomorrow. And it was a lot of money. It was over $100,000. And she was under the belief that she was buying this property outright. And I said, well, for starters, it's almost impossible for an Australian to own land in Indonesia. There are ways to do it through companies and stuff like that. But I said, just be careful, because you want to make sure that you're signing the right thing. Vie went over there. It turned out they were trying to sell her a 10-year lease, like a rental, and she goes, no, that's not right, and it was quite a bit more than she wanted. So it is invaluable to make sure that you're getting the right advice.
Also getting the deposit back.
Yeah, yes, that's another thing too. So she'd given them a couple of $1,000 deposit, and rather than losing their deposit, we turned around and said, I tell you what, how about you keep $500 of that deposit for the work you've done. This is to the agent that had lined up this scammy job. We're better off to leave $500 in his pocket, so he can fight for us to get the other $1,500 back. So the lady got most of her money back. She saved herself over $100,000. It was her life savings, and what could have been a horrible incident turned out to be a bit of a pain, a big bit of a pain. But having a consultant, having someone that can just interpret or just assist you with your process over here can be the big difference. Anyway, guys, look, I'll leave you there. We've got the architects here and the engineering guys, the surveyors with their GPS. They're going to plot this whole area out, and they're going to tell us where we can build fences and what we can do. The rain's a little bit, clouds are a bit dark, but it's not going to stop us. It's nice and warm, and we'll see you soon. Catch you guys, bye.